Climate change affects everybody. There's not one person on this planet that is not affected by climate change. Not only does it affect humans, but it also affects our plants, the way we eat, and our animals. Right now, as I speak, in Somalia, they're in a state of emergency due to a very severe flood that happened at random. According to PBS Kive, the flooding has forced over 250,000 people out of their homes, leaving them homeless with all their families, their children, their animals, just leaving them homeless. And that's around 90% of Beledweyne's population. Hakima Mohammed Maharid, a mother of 4 children, is just one of the survivors of this huge, horrific flood, as she desperately tries finding new shelter for her and her children to safely live. She left her home to Beledweyne, fleeing from terrorists, finally being able to live the life she wanted, just for this weather change, this drastic, horrific weather change, to come and destroy her home. And as she thought she found a better shelter at one of these help camps, another horrific weather change came in and destroys a little tent she has for her and her children to survive. Now, according to ACES International and Bloomberg, an estimate of 3.3 billion people are at risk of climate change. Between the years 2000 and 2009, that's 9.4% of deaths that were reported from climate change. And with around 8 billion people on this earth, 3.3 billion is a huge percentage. It's just a huge percentage of our planet's people. And that's only the percentage for people who are at risk. It's not including the people who were already affected by climate change. So with these unpredictable and destructible causes, it can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. Today we are going to discuss why Congress must mandate the use of solar energy in all government buildings. We will look at the problem, the effects, and the solution. Now, what exactly is the problem? The problem is climate change. As greenhouses operate, they trap the sun's heat. This heats up the atmosphere and raises the planet's average temperature. And you're wondering, like, how does that work? So, the greenhouses trap all this heat and radiation that has been produced and traps it in the Earth's atmosphere, not allowing it to cool or not allowing it to leave the Earth's atmosphere. So it just stays on here. And it's kind of like a tough blanket. So, you know, when you're all cozy in your blanket, this is what it is. But instead, it's trapping the heat so bad that our planet's core is overheating, and that overheating is causing our weather to change drastically. And since fossil fuels are burned, it releases a lot of carbon dioxide into the air, which can be harmful to humans and cause the earth to also heat up. There has been a recent report that trees are starting to lose their ability to absorb the carbon in the air. And that is another reason why climate change is getting worse. As we keep cutting down the trees and our forests, we have less trees to absorb the carbon in the air, making the air more heavy and more polluted, heating up our planet even more than it already is. So the more we cut down the trees, the less we have to absorb the carbon that is harming our lungs. Now, we know this is a huge problem, but have you ever thought about the devastating effects of climate change? There are a lot of effects, but the 3 most significant are floodings and droughts, decline of organic matter, and a lot of respiratory risk. As the weather becomes more unpredictable, it causes floods, it causes droughts, it causes a lot of things. So as the climate is overheating, it raises the water over the sea level, it increases snow melts, and it even increases storm surges. These are all factors that increase floods. So with the weather being this unpredictable, we also have heat waves that are drying up our oceans, our lakes, our rivers, causing droughts in a lot of areas. And this is putting a limit to our supply of water, which is very vital for us to live and stay hydrated. Now, according to Illinois.edu, the decline of organic matter may be a significant problem for agricultural fertility. So with the temperatures that are changing, it increases activities of microbes and bugs, such as worms or just little bugs that usually are needed for production of plants. And it causes them to have an increased appetite, eating all of our soil matter so quick that it releases carbon as they go. This also stops the organic matter's way to help water absorb. So with the water being just sitting there inside the soil, it can cause a fungus or any other bacteria to infect the soil. Now, this is a huge problem as organic matter is an important part of agriculture as it provides nutrients for plant production. And now we have another risk, our respiratory risk. According to American Lung Association, respiratory risks are a huge factor with climate change. Since plants produce a lot more pollen during different weathers, this causes people with allergies or asthma to suffer even more. And since wildfires are starting to happen even more frequently since the heat is overheating and then cooling down randomly, this causes a lot of smoke to fill our lungs, and that slowly dehydrates our lungs, slowly killing us from the inside. Climate change also causes a lot of air pollution, which increases the normal level of ozones. This is a very dangerous as ozones can be very harmful to human lungs if they are over the regular level of it. Now, as you see, these effects are devastating. Let's discuss how we can fix this problem. What's the solution? The solution is Congress must mandate the use of solar energy in all government buildings. So we can convert greenhouses into solar-powered energy as an alternative to fossil fuels. Solar panels absorb energy from the sun, and it provides it and stores it into kind of like a little battery. It's like when you store stuff in a battery and it keeps it in there, kind of like that. So this provides no fossil fuels, no gases. So this is more of a natural way to be getting your energy. Meaning if they were to convert, we would have less greenhouses trapping heat into the Earth's atmosphere. And you're wondering, how would this work? How is solar panels going to work? This could work because solar converts sun energy into DC power. DC power is something that helps operate battery-operated things, such as our phones. We use our phones on a daily basis, and it uses a battery. So with this, we'll be able to still do our normal things, just using less energy and not polluting our air as much as we need to be doing. That's not only another key fact. Another key fact is fossil fuels create a lot of carbon and pollute our air, making it heavier for us to breathe. So this can cause drastic changes to our planet, such as water pollution. Our water is getting polluted. So how we are supposed to drink good water if it's being polluted by all this smoke, all this radiation, all this carbon, and it damages our oxygen levels. With solar panels, we'd be able to create the same energy produced by fossil fuels, but create less damage to our planet. So today we learned that why it's crucial for Congress to mandate the use of solar energy in all government buildings. We looked at the problems, the solutions, and the effects. Remember, according to ACES International and Bloomberg, an estimate of 3.3 billion people are at risk of climate change, with 9.4% of that being deaths. That's a lot knowing we have a little over 8 billion people on this planet. And part of that billion, the people in Somalia are still suffering right now as I'm speaking. Still suffering, looking for homes, looking for food, looking for shelters. Some of them aren't even able to have their own dinners or anything because of their suffering from the storm. That's 250,000 people suffering right now. Take Muhammad. She still fled it, and she is still finding shelter for her and her children.